Hello, hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel, and today we're going to be doing a really cool purple berry periwinkle look that I'm so excited about. I will be diving into a couple of the palettes that I picked up from Kaleidos a while back, namely the Futurism 3 Astro Pink. So think a lot of like these colors. And I'm also probably going to dip into Athr and Hindash to build the look, and a lot of it will be centered around this Sephora Ultimate Gel Liner, waterproof in the shade Lavender Matte, which is right here. So let's dive into a fancy look, if you will. So I already have my base down, and I'm hoping I don't regret using this clip, but I do need to get my hair up out of my face. Actually, let's go with a headband. It's safer. I'm not committing to kinks on this one, you know. But to start off this look, I found this look on Pinterest, of all places, because we're about to do a trend review, or a trend analysis review, if you will, on my channel. But I've had this look in my backlog of things that I wanted to try, because these colors, and the placement is different than what I normally do, but still lends to that same shape that I like on my eye. But I had also found it after picking up the Kaleidos Astro Pink palette, and then also the collection that came out. This is the Glowing Iris palette, and this is Flowing Haze. This was from their Something of the Night collection that I'll pop on the screen, but I love purples, so I knew that I would use these. This one probably more so today, especially with that like more periwinkle color. But you will have seen my inspiration photo. I'm going to be kind of looking off here and there to do it. I have most of my base done. It's a little bit older of a base, so we will refresh my blush and bronzer and everything when we're done, but I have set my lids with concealer and powdered, and we're gonna dive right into it. I have a feeling we're gonna have quite a bit of fallout, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. Okay, so first things first, I know that the inner corner is kept quite bright, so I am gonna go into Hindash Beautopsy, into my favorite white shade, which already has, honestly, quite the dent. And I'm going to pick that up on a Refer 21. This is very similar to the MAC 242, just a nice shader brush with synthetic. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of that white. I'm just going to hit the inner corner. I don't want the inner corner to be white. It's going to be kind of a little bit closer to skin tone, but this will help anything I put on top of it read as a little bit lighter. And I'm going to go all the way up here because I do like to keep that spot right on the other side of the bridge of my nose here. I like to keep that as bright as possible. And I'm going to bring it in just a little bit, probably inner third. So it looks something like that. Do the same on the other side. It looks quite stark now, but I promise once we start adding things on top, it will make sense. Also, I am so congested and my breathing is a little heavy because of it, so apologies in advance. Now, since the Astro Pink palette doesn't have anything super light in it, and this look is, oh, that's pretty though. This look is mostly matte. It does look like there's a little bit of sheen in the inner corner, and so I really kind of wanted to bust out my Athr palette. Athr just makes the best inner corner highlights for me personally. And I honestly think, so this is a shimmer inner corner shade that obviously adds a lot of brightness. And then this is like almost a topper, but it has a little bit more of that like purple. So I'm going to top with that and just see where that gets us. And what I'm doing here too is I'm really starting with like the base of this look. It's giving a little shimmer, so I'm going to continue it, but we're going to add something on top of this as well because it's not giving me everything that I need, you know? And for now, before I take another look at my inspiration pick, she does have a taupe shade throughout the crease, which I think is going to be a really good building block for adding a lot of these more purple shades. Now, this one is from Kaleidos Astro Pink, and it's a little too pinky. And then I have this more taupe shade from Kaleidos Flowing Haze, which is definitely much more taupe, and that's what we're going to go with. So I'm going to grab a fluffy blending brush. I'm just going to grab a one from Refer. I'm just going to tap that. These are very powdery. If you can see the powder I just kicked up and that. So I'm going to tap off. I have used this formula before with the Cold Brew quad, and I really like that quad a lot. So I think I know that I like this formula, but I have been playing with only Cold Brew, and I definitely want to get more use out of these because I was so excited for these purple shades, and I've kind of been waiting to do it in a video like this. So I'm just building up a pretty decent crease here. And this might look stark at first, but I promise you when we start adding the other colors, because of their depth, it's going to look right at home. And honestly, I might dip into Astro Pink just to add a touch of warmth because this is very kind of purple and cool toned gray. And I like to bring my crease shade up onto my brow bone because I have slightly hooded eyes and deep set eyes, and I like to play with the real estate I got, you know? So there is our crease. Now, I do think I want to add just like a touch of this shade or maybe this one. Let's see. I think this one, honestly, because I want just a touch of warmth. Interesting. So this one doesn't kick up quite as much, and I wonder if the formula changed between when they released these longer palettes and the square palettes. Does anyone know? I'm kind of new to Kaleidos, so I would not know the answer to that. All right, there we go with our crease. Next, let's readdress that inner corner shade. I'm going to try to figure out what shade I want to use there. Okay, looking at that picture again, she is quite almost like a bright beige in there, and I think I've accomplished that, but I am going to go into the Athr and pick up this shade here, which is Amplify, just to add in the inner corner to add just a touch of shimmer. It's not super shimmery, but this will just further help brighten that area. And I have that on a different brush this time, but it's still a shader brush, whichever works. And then again, bringing that in to about the inner third. And then in the center of her eye is almost like a mid-tone mauve color. So I'm going to go back into the Athr into Desire here, and we're going to pat that on the center of the lid. I'm so excited to wear this look. And I don't know if the hot pink's going to go with it, but we're going to test it out. So I'm just going to cover the third of my lid like that, and we'll come back and blend it in just a second. Just tapping it on for right now. And I always like to take things kind of like up into my crease so you can see it when my eye is closed or open. When my eye's open. And I'm going to grab that blending brush really quick. The same one we used for our crease. And I'm just going to tap lightly along the line of the first two colors there. I'm going to tap on this outer color, but we're going to have to blend this more, so don't worry about getting that super blended. But this needs blended from the inner third to that halfway mark. Do the same over here. Okay, and now that we've blended that, I'm just going to run the brush over the color itself. Now that we've got that done, she now goes into the Periwinkle. And I'm sorry, I don't know who this artist was, but she's a genius. And that's where we're going to put down the Athr palette for now. So far we've used the Athr palette, the Kaleidos, and the Hindash, and now I'm going to jump into, but listen, you don't need all these palettes. I started with a white, then I added a shimmery inner corner highlight over that that's going to have a little bit of pink purple in it. Then we used the taupe shade for the crease, and then this kind of mid-tone mauve in the center of the shade. And now you just need a periwinkle shade. This is from the Glowing Iris palette from Kaleidos, so I'm going to go into that with my flat shader brush again. I'm on my third shader brush, and it's not because you need a different brush. It's because even though I'm on a tiny little desk, I cannot find it in the sea of things. I don't know, but I'm just picking up that periwinkle shade, and I'm going to pack this on the outer third. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm going to start building a shape that lines up with my eyebrow. So if there was an imaginary line coming from my bottom lash to my eyebrow, I'm going to start mimicking that shape with the periwinkle and just covering the outer third. This is where the fallout is. I did not tap my brush off. The trick here, if you do your eyes after your base, is really lay powder down there and then use your powder brush and flick it, and you won't smear it or drag it along your face. All right, tap the brush, and then I'm going to do the same on this eye. Start building that shape. Honestly, I feel like if you're okay with a little bit of fallout, not tapping off your brush gives such a true color to these. Look how vibrant that is. It's so pretty. And then we don't have to be perfect with this, but again, just tapping over the line between that mid-tone mauve and that periwinkle gently. I don't want to muddy it, so I'm just tapping. Rather than going back and forth or in circles, I'm just tapping it there. Lovely. And actually, I'm noticing something, so I'm going to take my beast of a blending brush and just make sure that I'm blended right here, because I was noticing we weren't super blended. This is where we are, and while this is beautiful in itself, just wait, because what we're about to do next is, like, I think why I love this look so much. This is going to require a little bit more precision than what we've been doing so far, and I'm hoping that this color rings true, but I think it will. We're going to be using this, and it is a little darker in the inspiration picture, so I'm just going to take a look. Yeah, I think that's the closest that I'm going to get to it. If we need to, we can always mix a little black in there if we want. But I'm going to grab an angled brush, your typical kind of angled eyeliner eyebrow brush. This one's from Beautypie, their holiday collection, and I'm going to pick up a decent amount. And I'm going to follow the shape that we did before with that periwinkle, and I'm going to create my flick like that. And then I'm going to relax my eye and just make sure that that's going to be showing when I'm looking straight ahead. Yep. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it in like I'm doing a thin liner. But we're going to go a little bit thicker than that. And actually, I started a little bit thicker. So I'm going to start like that. But you want to stop at the center of your eye. You don't have to, but I'm definitely doing more of an inspired by than an exact replica, but I love it so much that I do want to get close to it. I'm going to fill in that wing that we created there. And now I'm actually going to grab like a tiny detail brush. This is from Eco Tools, just something small. I'm just going to pat that in, and we've created the shape of our wing, which I love it so much. I honestly think that we could have gone higher this way. Do I want to redo that, or do I just want to build on what I have? I'm just changing the angle of that wing a little bit because I want more of this wing showing up here. And if you have trouble getting a precise line at first, that's okay, because we're going to blend this out. But I'm going to go ahead and make this wing on the other side, and then we'll start working on deepening that up, because I do want it to be a little bit deeper. But these colors together making me so happy. I'm so excited. I'm going to bring it out just a tiny bit on the other eye just to match. Yeah. And then this is where we're going to need to play around a bit. And this is another reason why I love this Hindash palette. I'm going to go into the black shade down here. And we're going to mix to try to build the color of our dreams. I'm going to find kind of like a pencil or a smudgy brush. And actually, I think I'm going to go in with this Storybooks Cosmetic one. And I'm going to tap the black twice and tap that burgundy twice and see what we get. Okay, it's adding a little too much gray to it. So I'm going to play around and maybe grab the deepest shade in the Kaleidos Flowing Haze, this really deep purple. I'm curious what that mixed will look like, and then we're going to practice layering on top, see what that does for us. So that's dipping both. I don't know if that's what I'm going for. And then this is blending on top. That's giving too much ruddy purple. Ooh, this might work, this dark brown shade. I feel like that's getting a little closer. Maybe add a little black. No. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We're getting somewhere, but it's not exactly where I want to be. I need to really think about this. Let me go look at the photo again. Okay, we are going to play with Hindash because my favorite black is from the Beautypie Holiday Patty DuBrow quads, but it's intense and I don't want to completely mess up that burgundy shade we have. So I'm going to take the tiniest pencil brush. This is a 23 from Refer, and I'm going to do the lash line first and see if we can like blow that out towards the kind of top of that wing, because it is quite deep. And I'm even going to do like the bottom flick of that wing. And I'm going to do that on the other side, and then we'll start blending it. Frank is on patrol right now. Please don't bark, dude. Okay, a little bit of fallout, so flick that away. How we doing? Not shabby. I'm going to grab a smudger brush. It could be a pencil brush, whichever you're most comfortable with. This is the Pro Eyeshadow Smudge Brush from the Beautypie Holiday Collection. And I'm going to kind of wiggle or do really short strokes on that black color just to start the blending, and then we're going to add maroon on top. Or that, it's almost kind of like an electric fuchsia. Okay, going into that electric fuchsia color, which is Nebula. Love that. I'm actually going to grab a different mirror. I'm going to go over that black with Nebula and just really build that up. See if we can blend that. And I'm going to dip into the black actually, because that's starting to look like a very straight line. I think we're getting the effect that I was looking for, just deepening this up a bit with the black. Yeah. Okay, gonna add that layer here and then go back in with Nebula. And now I'm gonna start dragging it in the tiniest bit just to blend those rougher edges. We're getting somewhere. I want this line to be more stark though, and we're losing some of the periwinkle, so I'll probably go back in with that in just a minute, but go ahead and start flicking in on this side. Yeah. What do we think? I'm digging it so far, but we need to bring that periwinkle back to the forefront, so I'm going to grab it on a shader brush again. Grab that. Tap off, and I'm just going to try to not get into that liner line that's kind of close to the lash line here, just up above it, just to make sure that that really pops. I'm sure this picture has been photoshopped, so I'm not striving for perfection here, but I do want to be able to see that pop of periwinkle because I think it's really important in the reasons why I like this look so much. That periwinkle next to that nebula shade is so good. It makes me want to do more looks with these colors. Yeah, just a little bit more. Okay, I think we're getting there. I might blend just a little bit more along that burgundy line. Hers is a lot thicker across the entirety of the eye. I don't think that's what I want to do, so I'm going to grab a chunkier pencil brush and just make sure that it's blended and not stark. And I did pick up a little extra of that nebula shade. Then I'm going to start working on this very outer edge. We're going to clean it up, but it is going to go down into the lower lash line. And also we're going to bring that crease shade in. Since we put it down as a base, it's going to help us blend everything together a little bit more, but definitely need to add a little bit more now that we've added shadow. So let's go back into the Flowing Haze. That taupe shade, tap off. I'm going to go right on the edge where those shadows stop and just blur that edge a little bit. Like that. Really focusing on that outer edge that can be a little harsh. Ooh, I like it. And then one of my favorite things to do, we're going to flick the fallout away and clean up under the eyes before we start on the lower lash line, because that's where more magic kind of steps in. So clean that up. And then what I like to do to clean up the edges is to grab my foundation brush that I used earlier. Nothing extra on it, and I'm just going to take it from the inner corner to the outer corner and really kind of make sure that that line is clean but not too harsh. So I'll do like a flick and then patting motions. What do we think so far? It's fairly blended in person. I'm going to try not to let perfection win this one. I'm going to clean off my shader brush though, and I am going to go into that mid-tone purple from Athr just to help blend a little bit further. This is the problem with like perfected eye looks on the internet that have been photoshopped. Can never live up to it, man. Plus eye shapes are different. You have to like take everything into account here. I'm going to go in with my Beastie blender with nothing on it and just tap that out. Yeah, I like that better. Seems more gradual now and not as stark. What do we think? I'm going to tap over the whole thing just to make sure you guys don't read me for filth, you know? Without getting muddy, that's the trick. Oh, and now I can see that this needs blended a little bit more. I sense that we need, like, I'm going to pick up Nebula, just like the tiniest bit on that blending brush. Right there. It's that spot that never wants to take shadow on me. It is very bizarre, and I'm blending that periwinkle away again. Send help. I'm still going to love this look. It's just, sometimes it's hard. Makeup can be hard when you're pushing outside of your comfort zone. Because like I'm going off a picture, I have no idea what this person actually did stepwise. But as long as we can see a little bit of this poking through, I think it's fine. Yeah, what do you think? I think we have to leave it and let's start on the lower lash line. Okay, to start this off, I'm going to go in with that Sephora Collection liner in the shade Lavender Matte, and we are going to waterline to start. I've never used this formula before. You do have to run over it a couple of times, but it goes on fine. So then I'm actually going to do it right on the edge of the waterline. because then we're going to grab a teensy brush, little pencil brush. I'm going to wipe that off, just make sure nothing's on it. And we're going to go into that purple periwinkle shade again. Tap off. We're going to go under the eye, right against the lash line. And it does really help me to look down. And I'm going to go all the way and connect it. Hers has a very stark ending. I like to blend mine into my waterline, so that's what I'm going to do. Do the same over here. What do we think? Good. I always go conservative at first and then realize that the further you get away, the less you can see of this. So I'm going to bring that down a little bit lower, almost to that crease pretty much. And again, connecting it. Pretty. And then it looks like there's almost like a smoky purple that blends that out. So I'm actually going to go with the deepest shade in that same palette with the periwinkle, just like a deep purpley gray, and just touch it on the outer corner and start to blend downwards a little bit, but we're going to do most of the blending with a clean brush. Like that. And then with a clean, fluffier brush, I'm just going to blow that out at the bottom and blend towards the center. Oh, she's purple, and I got stuff in my eye. I'm never used to doing my bottom lash line. I don't know that my eyes really love it, to be honest. And now I'm going to go back into Athr to that inner corner shade right here. My shader brush that keeps disappearing. I'm going to clean that off. And I'm just going to bring it down kind of where it meets that lash line color we just laid down. Do the same over here. And I think we kind of have it. I am going to clean up under my eyes, add mascara, the rest of my base, and then we'll talk choices for blush and lips. Bronzer and base on, I did add a little extra concealer. Next time I definitely would do eyes first. I was just trying to save us some time. And then I am between using Third Date to kind of balance the coolness, bring some life to my cheeks, or Houndstooth from the Balm. These are both from the Balm. I think this one's a little too pink for what I want to go for today. I think I'm going to go with Third Date just to keep it lively on my cheeks, like they need a touch of warmth. There is some warmth in the purples we're using, so I think it's going to pull on that nicely, but also not make me look like a zombie, you know? I pick up quite a bit of that too, because I need it to bring me to life. I swear, if you're someone who is like, I love the idea of NARS Orgasm Blush, but it's too glittery and too pink for me, Third Date from the Balm is where it's at. Oh, these blushes are so good. Okay, there's that. Let's get mascara because looks don't start coming together until you have mascara. Wait, should I do black mascara? Or should we go all in with the purple? Let's do purple. Let's do purple. I swear mascara does so much for a look. So for lips, I want to keep things subdued. When I want to do that, I usually reach for my Beautypie Sun Hazed Lip Balm. Okay, I thought I knew where that was, and I don't, so I'm going to go in with the Decorte Shiny Lipstick in Starlet Story. Another go-to when I want just a very understated nude lip that looks juicy and that moisturizes my dry winter lips. What do we think? Ooh, I wonder if I need a little bit more brow to balance this. Let's do that. Yeah, just a little bit more. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right, let me take this off. Ow! Help! Send help! Take that off. Zhuzh my hair. And what do we think? I love it. It's not exactly what I want, and we're going to talk about that. This is not a review video, but I need to address it because, one, I need to find a burgundy color, that color. If you know of one, let me know. It's going to go on my wish list. I'm going to scour through my collection to see if I have anything like that because... Hello. Editing potato here. Before I let the next clip roll, I need to address that I still stand by some of the things that I say in this clip about the muddiness because these shadows are powdery to the point where they easily run into each other, if that makes sense. However, I did take that beast of a blender and go over everything, and then I just kept trying to blend, and if I could go back, I would do it differently, and I would do the placement differently. So if you do want to see me do a second run at this, more perfected, where I've had that practice run in, let me know. I'm happy to do that. And I'm going to continue to play with the Kaleidos shadows to make sure that what I say in this next clip is correct, but it's like 50% correct in my mind right now, so keep that in mind. The Cold Brew palette I love, but that lends itself to something that if it gets a little muddy, it's fine because it's all kind of like cool neutrals. These, however, when you start getting into these brighter colors, if you start to get muddy with some of these, it's very apparent because they're not their original color and they all kind of squish together. A lot of that probably has to do with my technique. It's not that the shadows are bad. They're super pigmented. They do blend, but the way that I typically blend just doesn't lend itself to this type of look that I wanted to do. And I have trouble getting things to stick in this spot typically, but honestly, not this bad usually. Like usually if I pay a little extra attention, it handles itself and it looks good. I just don't think this came out. We're going to have to practice this again, but I still want to show this because I think it's valuable to know these can get muddy if you blend like I do, which is typically not just patting, which is crazy because I even did kind of the patting approach. I don't know. I guess I would want to try this again, but I think for one and dones, these would be so cool. Like this periwinkle one and done. And then these shimmers, I cannot wait to do a look with that one, but more so from this like silvery shimmer in the Astro Pink palette. This one, oh, to die. They're just gorgeous. Look at that. Honestly, that might be what we do. Since this didn't go according to plan, here's the look, but I want to take it a step further. I'm actually going to take that silver and I'm just going to pat over the inner 2/3 because glitter tends to obscure a lot. And it's not going to be those graphic straight lines anymore, but that's okay. Yeah, that's pretty. I like that, and that kind of helps it look like it's supposed to be blown out and a smidge muddy. But yeah, that's where we landed today. Let me know if you try this out, if you like this, if you have experience with Kaleidos shadows and maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'm going to continue to try to play with looks like this. That burgundy color, let me know if you have anything like that and where I can find it. I need more of it in my life, but I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.